What's going on, everybody? I want to do probably because I've done the same video more than once, and I do it different each and every time. But I don't care how many times I got to do a video just like this. It's just in case somebody missed it, and I want to bring full awareness to the topic that I'm speaking of. So if I have to do several videos over and over again, I don't mind. I will do it. So I want to get into it. I'm definitely, once again, we are talking about the birth certificate and the Cestui Trust Act of 1666. I want to run down before I actually get into it. I do want to run down a little breakdown of what exactly, as a person, let me say, not what, who we are as people, what we bring to the table to this country that we call America, or they call the United States, or United States of America. I want everybody to understand that the world that we operate in is definitely nothing more than a world of commerce. That's it. Yeah, we everything we do is in a world of commerce. So I'm gonna do full screen so you can see everything. But like I said, we operate, we live, we operate in a world of commerce. Um, yes, we have a constitution, but as many people know, there are actually two constitutions that we operate under. This is how the government can get away with a lot of the things that they get away with, because they literally pick and choose what they want to do, and a lot of times, which is basically every time that something goes wrong or they do something wrong, they violate your constitutional rights. And they do that because they're able to do that under circumstances, regulations, laws, and everything put into place in the beginning when they first started coming over here stealing shit from who I think, and I'm just gonna be blunt and honest, I'm not gonna sugarcoat anything, but from what I believe is all of us, or I'm not gonna say us because I wasn't around, but us colored people, when we had this land before, those clear people came over and we showed them what to do, and then they took over everything and flipped on us and then brought all these other people over here, before that, all this little government stuff was, really created. Everyone was fine. Everyone was comfortable. Everyone was living. Everyone, was themselves. You cannot do that anymore. It's been like that since the government was, I'm trying not to curse, but since the government was stated that they're a fucking government and they're going to run shit. So, like I said, that we basically live in two different worlds. Okay, so for me, as I am talking now, I am the natural person. Um, and before I get into this, there's so many people who believe in God. There's so many people who take God as their everything. But how can you do that when you're taking your government over your God? And I never understood this, but when you look at money, or you go into the court and you see in God we trust, but I don't understand how you can trust God when you're going against God. And for me, it's like you cannot, and there's no way in hell that you can serve two masters. You can't do it. You just can't. You're going to serve God, or you're going to serve this government. Which are you going to do? So all these people who, oh, God this, God that, if you knew what God gave you, you knew what God put you here for, you knew all these rights and freedoms and all of this good stuff that supposedly God has given you that you have not been able to have. Have you ever thought about your God-given rights? No, you haven't. You guys will speak on God and this, and that. And where's all this stuff? Where's all this love? Where's all this compassion? Where's all this righteousness? Where's all of it that God gave you? It was taken away the moment you were born. So if you're going to believe in God and you're going to follow God, then you need to follow God. If you can't follow the government and God, because those are two different entities in general. And I'm going to use that word strongly, entities. So before I, get woo and go start going crazy, I'm going to go ahead and let's get into this. So, and I'm going to go ahead and say this is useful because it is. So I can get that out of my way. So, you have natural and artificial. We'll start on the natural side. Nature and God. Nature and God is over man and woman. Man and woman is over government. Natural man and woman would be a human being, a living factual entity, a creditor, flesh and blood, sentient, with spirit and status, naturals. If you pay attention to the name of a natural person, it will be the name, I'm going to highlight it right here, John Doe. John Doe. This is how they teach you to write your name in school, right? Right. So we're going to hit on to the artificial side. Government. Government is over corporation. Corporation is over nothing. What is the United States? The corporation. It is a corporation. Nothing more than a corporation. It's nothing more than a corporation. If you look for the EIN for this corporation, you will definitely find it. I'm not going to look it up right now, but you'll definitely find this the EIN, just like every other corporation. The United States of America has an EIN because it is indeed a corporation and nothing more. The artificial person, which is a legal person, a dead fictional entity, a debtor, creature of the law, without senses, Universal States, Bornerum, and then John Doe. And you see John Doe is in all capital letters. Everything that is business, commercial, is in all capital letters. Just like when you get your mail, your name is in all capital letters. But when you was in school and they taught you how to write your name, they taught you uppercase first, lowercase, the rest of the name. We don't write our name in all caps. Why? Because it's a business entity. It's corporational. It's artificial. We're going to go into the universe versus the empire. Planet, Earth, and freedom. That's the universe. Planet, Earth, and freedom. I'm going to do this one differently. Versus the empire, which is the realm. We're in a specific realm at this point. State, kingdom. When you get to the universe, man, woman, people, the empire. And remember, this is the commercial side. King, queen, crown. We operate under the queen and the freaking crown. Back to the universe side, our human rights. The empire side. Excuse me, I got the hiccups. Divine right. And I have never been able to pronounce that, so correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm going to pronounce it the way that I see it, and that's prophecy to the world in souls, unnamed, sanctum 1302 in divine rights of kings. And I spoke about our human rights, which will be our unalienable rights and alienable rights. And as I stated before, your unalienable rights, and they did break it down, unalienable rights endowed by creation. As of now, every person, literally, when you were born and you're issued that birth certificate and a social security number, they automatically put a lien on your vessel, meaning your body. You have a lien on you, which means you do not own yourself. The next line, universal birthrights versus proclaimed birthrights. Next one, governed by right. True republic or democracy, by the people who are us, of the people who are us, or we, however you want to put it, for the people, equal representation and protection in law. We don't get any of that. That is not what we are dealing with at this moment. It has not been what we have been dealing with in the past because of the rights being taken. Right now, we're alienable. So we don't have those rights. Back to the other side, ruled by claim. They claimed that we're this, and that. Monotheism, militarism, moneyism, and monarchism. Yeah, those are all crazy. Aristocracy, oligarchy, and I have never seen that word. Plutocrat. I'm gonna have to look that one up because I believe that may mean something totally different, mainly by the word. Because one, Pluto means something totally different in French, and I like to go by French, sometimes Latin. Family bloodlines. Oh, let's get into this really good one. Jurisdictions. I like to operate on the common law side. I have never been able to operate with statuses, acts, and codes because I feel like I should be exercising my God-given rights. So I don't like to abide by what they say because I like to go by what my creator says, what my creator has put here for me. I like to go by that versus what they basically force us to go by. So you have your common law, which is a private lawful, and then you have status, acts, and codes, which is public and legal. I like to go by laws of the land. Natural law, trial by jury, or people's law. Charters of Liberty, the Magna Carta 1215, Petition of Rights 1627, Habeas Corpus 1640, and Bill of Rights 1688. If you literally read each and every one of those, you will understand a whole lot more about the world and the life that we live in and what we are supposed to be abiding by versus laws of the sea. Now, if you don't know, each and every person who does not come forward and say, hey, I am here, I am on land, I'm here to claim my rights and everything else. Until you do, you are still lost at sea. They basically say we are lost at sea. So since we are lost at sea, you know, what all can we do here? Nothing, because we're lost at sea. We're not even here. We're here in the flesh, but they don't see us as being here in the flesh. They see us as being lost and stranded at sea. which is why when we go to court, the courts operate on admiralty, maritime jurisdiction, basically commercial law. Everything we do, every time we go to court over nonsense, or get a ticket over some nonsense, all of this is commercial law. Commercial law. And you have to be competent in commercial law, meaning the courts. Anybody who's working in the court system, meaning the police, prosecutors, court clerk, judges, everybody has to be competent, and they're not. So yeah, we are still lost at sea. We have not came to land yet. So at this point, we are under admiralty, maritime, and they hate when you say that because they know that they're wrong in the things that they do. A judge who does not like for you to come into his courtroom and speak about admiralty law or the maritime jurisdiction. They will want to lock you up ASAP because they know they are in the wrong. You have the UCC, which is the Uniform Commercial Code, which is how they are able to put liens on you and do all this extra stuff. Law merchant, contract law, King's law, Roman canon law, and I've never been able to pronounce that, but you see the ECC, LESIA, STICAO law. I'm not going to try to pronounce it. I'm not going to butcher it. But yeah, so until you get to land, you are still lost at sea. Your vessel is still at the sea. It's lost at sea. You have not touched land. Even though you live in state on dry land, you're not living in a freaking boat or houseboat or whatever they want to call it. You don't live there. You live on land, and they're not basically acknowledging the fact that you live on land and you're not lost at sea. Precepts and principles serving people to live honorably, to hurt nobody, and to render to everyone his or her due. Commercially, which is what we are living in, we have rules and regulations serving commerce. And if you pay attention, everything you do comes with a price. So we have statutes, acts, codes, rulings, orders, charges, etc. are all offers of contract. And I would definitely say everything you do, every time, every piece of paper, even verbally. And nowadays, since we're they're pushing everything to be digital, online. Be careful what you do. Be careful what you say, because everything that we touch and speak on can be a contract that they can legally bind you into. Legally. If there's a bill collector calling me, first thing I do is, do you wish to contract with me? Before I even answer and say, yes, that's or that's who it is. I am who you're asking for. I never do that, ever. You don't know who you talking to. You didn't give these bill collectors your name and number for them to be calling you for anything. So the moment that you say, yes, this is me. How is this? How can I help you? I don't do all that. Absolutely not. My first question is, do you wish to contract with me? You know what they do? They hang up. Thank you. You doing me a favor. Thank you. They send me a letter in the mail. That's mail fraud, bruh. For one, I'm not that all caps person. That's the person on the birth certificate. My name is in capital letter lowercase. I am a natural person. I am not a commercial entity that you are speaking with. Corporations cannot speak. Can they? No, they cannot, but a real person can. Remember that. Common law, what is right or wrong, versus statutory law, which is what is legal or illegal. Decided by the people or the jury. Uncodified procedural precedential case law versus enacted by government acts. Codified, prescribed, written, substantive law. Only common law upholds justice. Victims are due fair compensation, redress, restitution, restoration. So every time we're hollering, Justice, justice, justice. No, we don't. You're not going to get any justice. You want to know why? Because you're not operating in common law. You're operating in maritime admiralty law, not common law. So you going to court or crying out justice, justice, you're not getting it because the courts don't operate in that jurisdiction. There's only one common law court, and it is in D.C., not far from the White House. If I'm not mistaken, it's just one. Good luck getting into that court. Crime can exist without a victim. Debts must be paid for violations, sins, punishments, pensions, and penitentiary. I can't see that really. So yeah, they don't need a victim, and that's why you'll hear people saying, "Show me a victim," or when you get State versus Smith. Okay, who is the state? When I was in court, I wish I would have known this stuff because I was slightly, I can't say I was new to it, but I was still learning. So if I would have known, I most definitely would have came into court and when they said the state versus Asami Smith. Man, I'm telling you, I definitely would have said, okay, could you show me state? Who did I injure? Did I injure the whole state? You know, these are questions that we should be asking if we go into their courtroom. Because when they send you something saying that you got to come court, it ain't nothing but an invitation. And you don't always have to accept invitations and go to these parties. Because you never know what can happen. Don't put yourself in a position when you take that that invitation to court and you don't send that mug back within 72 hours, you're basically saying, yep, I'll be there. You get something summoned to court or a ticket, send it back in 72 hours. Within 72 hours. That is the rule. Common laws apply equally to all of the people being created equally. I could have sworn we were all created equally, but we don't get that equal treatment. Statuses are given the force of law by the consent of the governed. There you go. Force of law. Force. Here's the good part. We get into the good stuff. Man, woman. People, natural man or woman, or your John Doe, capitis diminito, minima, rights taken minimally, sujurus, own master not under legal disability. I like how they put that. Own master. You are your own master. Which is why I say you can't serve too. Not under legal disability. Legal disability. Basically, to the government, because you're lost at sea. 2, you're a minor in their eyes. 3, you're disabled in their eyes. 4, you're incompetent to handle your own affairs, which is why they're able to do what they want to do. Until you let them know, hey, look, I'm more than competent to handle my own affairs. I'm above age. I have reached, the age of competency and of that I can do what I need to do and want to do. But other than that, you are an incompetent, legally disabled person that can't handle a thing. So therefore, they handle everything for you, and you're under their rules and laws. Mankind is a man or woman. We know that. Corporations, persons, artificial, all caps names. If you look at all your the companies you do business with, AT&T, all caps. Let me think of something else. Your like my my electric company, Evergy, all caps. USA, all caps. FBI, all caps. CIA, all caps. Pay attention to everything and how things are written. Anything that's an acronym, basically, because acronyms mainly are always in all caps, and those acronyms also mean things. So anything that has an acronym, damn near, corporation. Capitis domino maxima, rights taken max. Obligatio, I can't pronounce that. Bonded pledge, being legally liable. Bonded pledge, legally liable. That would be the person that is on the birth certificate in all capital letters or the Social Security card. Government equals corporation or church. This is another reason why I cannot take church seriously, because churches are governed by who else? Our swindling government. Several times a year, there are meetings that take place with pastors, ministers, whatever you want to call them. They make sure they update them and tell them how to run the church, what they can say and what they cannot say, what they can do and what they cannot do. And if you think about it, as I've come along all these years, because I'm really into spirituality, and I really embrace my spirituality, mainly because I came to learn that we are really going through spiritual warfare at this moment. I find a lot of things to be odd about church. The drinking of the blood or grape juice or whatever they want to give you. The cracker or the piece of bread. That sounds like some cult shit to me. So, I can't really take a church serious because it is governed by a bigger corporation, which would be the swindling, lying government. Living entity. Sui juris, free man or woman, like a fisher, a grower or farmer, and a writer, versus a legal entity and legis juristic person, a judge, a taxpayer, or a driver. Taxpayer, you don't have to be a taxpayer. There was times where I wouldn't file taxes for years on end. I know people who haven't filed taxes ever, and they're fucking in their 20s, 30s. Never filed taxes, but been working since they was 15, 16. You don't have to file taxes. You don't have to be a taxpayer. But as long as you're a taxpayer, you're a slave to the government. Record of live birth, which is an affidavit of life for a living man or woman, sovereign man or woman, living fact, evidence of life outside of the government. I myself have an affidavit of life or a record of live birth. Certificate of birth, which is a registered title of an artificial person, which is your all caps, a corporate straw man, a legal fiction, trade name created and owned by government. So that tells you right there. The certificate of birth / birth certificate is a registered title of an artificial person, corporate straw man, legal fiction, trade name created and owned by government. How is it that you guys are not understanding truly the difference between your living flesh and this artificial person? If y'all not understanding and y'all still think that it's a joke and y'all still think that it's bull, do your own research. Read these laws. Read these acts. Read the Constitution. Read the United States codes. You read the United States commercial codes. Yeah, there's a UCC and a UCCC. I'm sorry. UCC and UCCC. Too many C's messing me up. But yeah, if you truly not understanding what I'm saying and you're not getting the fact that these your birth certificate is truly another created entity. If you're not understanding that, we got a whole problem. We really have a whole problem. I really need you to understand, you know, who you are. Understand that there are two of you in this world. Maybe way more, but we just speaking of the two that you carrying around. You're carrying around a living flesh, and you're carrying around a corporate entity. I just want y'all to understand that, because as long as we don't, we will never progress and move forward to a better life for everyone. Like truly, we will not move on to a better life. It's just not going to happen, because so many people are not understanding that their life was literally stolen from them the day they were born. It's not our fault that we were lied to, but now that you know the truth, we can all make a change and get this all right, so that we can all live in a better place, because there's just way too much out here that's wrong, and we want to be in a better place. And in order for us to do that, we got to get it right. We got to know who we are. Sue Juris John Doe is the beneficiary of the trustee government by lawful right in the express trust, which is assessed to KB trust. Everybody always says, "Oh, that's not real." Woo, woo, woo. It is. It definitely is. Government is the beneficiary and employer of in legis trustee of the all caps John Doe by legal right in the express trust, the assessed to KB trust. So the living person is the beneficiary of the trustee government by lawful right in the SKB trust. And then on your other side, your that side, the government is the beneficiary and employer of in legis trustee, all caps, by legal right in the SKB trust. Innate rights and freedoms that cannot be taken away, unalienable or unalienable. All human beings are born free and equal in dignity and rights. They are endowed with reason and conscience, and should act towards one another in a spirit of brotherhood. Article 1, UDHR, 1948. The UDHR is the Universal Declaration for Human Rights. Given privileges and benefits that can be taken away. Human being who is also considered as a monster. We are all monsters running around here. A human being by birth, but in some part resembling a lower animal. A monster has no inheritable blood and cannot be heir to any land. Valentine's Law Dictionary, 1930. So that tells you that you are not allowed to own any land. But who are they to say that you're not allowed to do shit? You know, that's the question. Why am I not allowed to own land? Like, because even when you own land or you own a house or you own a car, and that car is registered or that house is registered and you did not register it on your own, it ain't yours. I don't care if you have the title to the house or the car, it's not yours. Or land, it's not yours until you specifically, as a natural person, register that property as yours. You can do it through the recorder of deeds. But until then, you can brag all you want. I own such and such. I own 3 houses. I own all these cars. No, you don't own a damn thing. You don't own shit until you specifically register your property as yourself. You don't own a damn thing. So it's so cute, and I laugh all the time when I hear people say, I'm grown, I own my house, I own my car. You don't own a goddamn thing. Because at any point in time, it can be taken away by who? The owner, the government. So again, you don't own shit until you register your things and it becomes private property. They can't touch your shit. They can't repossess your car. They can't foreclose or repossess your house, or however you want to put it. They can't take your land. They can't tell you what to do on your land. They can't tell you what to do with your car. They can't tell you shit because it's private property and it's now yours. But until then, you can boo-hoo and rant and rave and say you own this, this, and that, when you don't own shit. You don't even own your body. The vessel that you operate in, you don't fucking own. And which is why I laugh at people, all these people with all this fake debt money that they throwing around, buying all these houses, buying all these cars. You may have bought it and you may have the title, but honey, it is not yours. And that just tells you there that it's not yours, because it can be taken away. With the snap of a finger, the blink of an eye, the drop of a pen. It can be taken away. Natural man or woman lives in freedom with their autograph. Artificial person is played by an actor, has a signature. What is an autograph? The living identification established with a declaration, an example, an authorized agent or by, semicolon, or colon. Okay, see. So understand the difference when they say, need your signature here. No, motherfucker, you don't need my signature. You don't write no signature. I'm a TTE, or I'm an authorized representative. I'm anything but whatever you think I am, or whatever you assume, whoever you're assuming I am. It ain't working out like that. A signature is a signer. A signer is the accommodation party to the legal entity invoking joiner by consent. So when you sign something, you're consenting for them to do whatever the fuck they want. But when you autograph something, it's totally different. So I believe that it's best if you, when it comes to autographing or trying to, a so-called signature, get you a stamp with a custom autograph of your name or whatever you want to put it as. They ask you for it. Boom, stamp. There you go. Stamp. There you go. That's not a signature. I know, it's an autograph. I don't sign shit. I autograph. I am authorized to autograph. I don't give you consent to do anything. If you understand what I'm saying. Bearing responsibilities. And then on your commercial side, you're under licenses and taxes. And that goes back to being what they say, like a writer. You don't need a license to be no writer. You don't need a license to do shit. But if you want to do things in their world, in the commercial world, on their side, under their rules, laws, and regulations, You need a license and you got to pay taxes. Damn all that. Um, Private sovereign in de jure jurisdiction or public servant in de facto jurisdiction. So your private sovereign, and this is something that I was speaking. I was on a live on TikTok with someone who is his name is Dr. Malcolm Turner. He is a brown man running for 2024 president, and he is from the state of Texas. Dr. Malcolm Turner. I was asking this question, like, we're on sovereign land. How do we get to be sovereign individuals on the sovereign land? Of course, nobody wants to answer that because a lot of people have a misconception, but that's fine. You got your public servant, meaning you got to do what the fuck they say. You a slave. You a public servant. As long as you operate in that commercial capacity, you a public servant. Ain't there's no other way around it. You're a freaking slave. Let's hit the money side. Waiting on this one. Waiting on this. Waiting on this. The money side. The medium and the commodity. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. So let me try to get this out real quick. Get this one out. The medium versus the commodity. Money is in it, credit as the value of human energy. Human energy. I like that. Human energy. You got your commercial side where money is created as debt, as a product of sweat equity. You put all your sweat, blood, and tears into making this money that ain't nothing but debt. That is going to put you in debt. Just think about it. Sweat equity, debt. Money is created as debt. There's nothing more to it. Money created as debt. And if you look on the money, the green US dollars, that's why I say USD, anything USD, them US dollars, anything that counts as US dollars is nothing but a debt instrument. Or for those who don't know that part, a debt certificate. DEBT, not DEATH. A debt certificate. So a medium of exchange versus a commodity per interest. Common issuance of money for reserve banking, local currencies, all interest-free instruments of credit. Ooh. And that's something I have been working on, a local currency. That's what I want, local currency. Damn all these green US dollars, all this extra stuff. I want to live in a community where we deal with nothing but community currency. A commodity per interest. Fractional reserve banking, all interest-bearing instruments of debt. Monopoly issuance of money. And if you pay attention, plenty of people have put it out there. If you put those US green dollars, the 1, 5, what is it, 1, 5, 10, 20, 50, 100. Put those next to the money that came out of the Monopoly thing, the Monopoly board game. The only thing you're missing is the $500 bill. Put them all next to each other. Tell me what you get. Tell me what you get. Same shit. Think of the Monopoly game. You sit here and you buy these properties, right? Then you can't afford to keep up with the properties because why? You keep going to jail. You keep having to pay taxes of some sort. Bills. Think about when you hit the water, you hit the electric. Bills. Come on now, y'all. Same thing. We run, and I was explaining this to somebody um this week, earlier in the week. If you think about it, everything we do is based on a board game that was we played as kids. The game of life, battleship, chess and checkers, Monopoly, problem, hungry hippos. I'm trying to tell you all these games relate. They literally relate to something else. A board game. Hell, we could take it to digital games. Literally. And the main one or main few of Call of Duty, GTA. Look at all look just pay attention. And a lot of times I think that we live in a simulation anyway, so take a lot of this stuff into consideration. The open process of lawful contract. Full disclosure, valuable consideration, lawful terms and conditions, autographs of both parties. Versus on your commercial side, bank loan is fraudulent contract. Banks provide no valuable consideration and practice securitization without consent. This is some big stuff. For those of you guys who don't really dig into this, who don't dig into the things that I'm talking about, this is a lot to take in and it's a lot to consider. Specifically because a lot of us go out and take out loans and understanding a loan is not really what it seems to be, or banks can't loan you money because banks don't have money. There's a lot to consider because our system was based and built on fraud, on deception. So myself and all the other millions of people, and I can't say just the United States because I know there's people in the UK, there's people in Canada, Australia, Italy. There's so many different countries. So where there are millions of people who are just like me, who want to turn this thing around and crash this system that was built on deception and fraud, and let us build up something much greater. This is why I won't vote for a new president, because they won't do this. I won't even vote for a senator or anything. I'm not even a registered voter anymore, because I refuse to vote for anybody to come in to run the country that I live in when they're going to do nothing but run the country that was built on lies and deception, instead of tearing it all down, tearing the system down, and creating a much better one that's equal for everyone. But they won't. So why should I vote? Simple as that. Your John Doe, written normally, is the secured party creditor. Your all caps is the liable debtor. This is why we will forever be in debt, because of the fact that we are operating under that commercial capacity, that fraudulent entity, that artificial entity, that corporation. Trade and contracts are needs-based, fairness, honor, trust, and security, versus your artificial commercial side. Trade and contracts are profit-based. They're based on nothing but greed, dishonor, distrust, and insecurity. We need to move all that to the fairness, honor, trust, and security. Promotes, earn, productive wealth through service versus promotes unearned, unproductive wealth through speculation and theft. I'm going to say in theft, deception. Government does not incur debt to fund public services, so less taxation versus what we have to deal with. Government debt increases tax burden until impossible sovereign debt. Economies are unique groups sustained by unique currencies. Unique economies, on the other side, are degraded and subsumed by currency union. Union. Localization, community building, complementary currencies, barter, community networks and markets, and fair trade equitable. Versus the nonsense, the globalization, national disintegration, currency union, outsourcing, deregulation, resource exploitation, free trade monopolies. We need to get from that and get to the localization. Okay. Wealth remains where created in communities and nations versus wealth is transferred upward within and between nations. when you have your wealth, when you have wealth that is transferred upward within and between nations, what does that sound like? That sounds like America has all these homeless people by the boatloads, but they giving Ukraine 80 million dollars every other 30 to 45 days. You see how it's going versus if we were to do it in a community and our communities were building the wealth like they did back in the day before these clear people had came in and burned all the black people's towns and Black Wall Street and did all this nonsense. You see how the wealth was created and maintained in the communities versus how it is now. I'm all for community. I don't give a fuck about all the other stuff. I'm for communities. Promotes equality, social justice, political stability, and peace. What the government does is they increase inequality, social injustice, political unrest, and war. And the reason why they get to run on these executive powers constantly is because of disease and famine and wars and things like that. We will forever be dealing with this kind of nonsense as long as we have this commercialized world that we have to run and live in. Our community side, natural person side, lowers birth rates in third world countries due to improved health and living standards versus what we're going through right now, which causes high birth rates in third world due to debt, poverty, and low health standards. If you are paying attention to the difference, what side do you want to be on? Because I'm definitely gearing towards the living person, the natural person versus this artificial side, which is the blue side. Strengthens ethical government, democratic statute making, and unbiased media. But what we deal with now leads to corruption of politics, undemocratic statute making, and biased media. This is why they can control the things that we see, the things that we hear. They control our TV. They control what we read. They control what we say. They get to control everything that we do. And I have this argument all the time with the older. I don't want to just say older people because there's a lot of young people who don't um, understand this as well. But um, with my grands, um, there's a lot of things that they don't get to see that goes on in the world, and they don't see it is because they watch the news. The news is very biased. Media is controlled heavily. So they're not going to see any of this. They're not even going to see the things that I'm talking about, nor will they understand what I'm talking about because one, it's not on the news. There's so many people who believe everything the news says. And if you pay attention, every news station or in this country will say the exact same thing. They'll say the exact same stories. But everything that's going on in the real world, you will never truly hear because they are controlled. There will be less military, more peacetime focus versus the Bill's military and police state. We don't need that shit. Steady, stable economy without debt-based growth imperative versus what we go through now, perpetual economic growth necessary to service interest-bearing debt. Because remember, the country that we are in, the United States, and any other crown countries, I call them crown countries because they're under the freaking crown. Basically, excuse me, they get to continue. They literally get to continue to build up all these different parts of the military to do harm to not just us, but to other countries, which I never understood. But I understand partially that they have to have chaos in order for the government to continue to take place, and we have to continuously be in debt. The United States is bankrupt. Always, it has been since what year? 1933, or that's when the act was put in place. So they were already bankrupt. They used us, the people, as leverage, or however you want to say it. They use us as collateral. That's the word I'm looking for. They use us as collateral. So, unfortunately, we, the people, the collateral, are stuck. We are stuck paying the debt back from the country who was bankrupt before we even started all of this. Nobody told you to come in here bankrupt and then have everybody else pay for your bankruptcy. And not only that, we're still paying for it. We're not going to stop. As long as we let them do what the fuck they want to do. My hat fall down. Balanced money supply promotes human and natural stability versus exponential debt that drains all human natural resources, which is what we go through today. Money circulates like blood, which means everybody should be having money in circulation. There shouldn't be any homeless people. But because of the system that we are under, money bleeds out like blood. And we don't even get to see it. Inherently supports life. But what we go through now, inherently, the money that we have now destroys life. How many times have you heard money is the root to all evil? How many times have you heard someone kill somebody over money? When the money is nothing but a debt. On the private side, the natural life side, money could be a living economy. versus the deadly economy that we are currently going through. So understand that there's two worlds that we live in. Understand that you are operating as two people. You think you operate as a natural person. You think you're a natural person, but you're not. You're a corporation. You're a public legal entity. You are stuck at sea, whether you can swim or not. So what you want to do is get on land, start living privately, and build communities back like they used to. Because other than that, without that, we will continue to have plenty of debt, plenty of deaths, plenty of homeless people, plenty of hungry people, plenty of bad things, diseases. They told everybody, to my knowledge, because I stay into knowing what's going on before it happens. Diseases. We're about to have another pandemic, maybe two. They're saying Omicron is up, but from my knowledge and from my reading from last year, SEERS will be here before Omicron. So I don't know, but figure out what side you want to be on. That's all I'm saying. You want to be on the natural side or the artificial? You want to live under the universe or in the universe or the empire? You want to be operating under a common law jurisdiction or this little legal status acts and codes that doesn't really work for the majority of us? Do you want to, I know, on and on. You want to operate with the medium or the commodity? This is all up to you. So I really encourage everyone to really research and understand that things can change. Things can get better, but it's only going to be that way as a collective. If we do this as a collective, that is the only way we will get this change. I am more than welcome to answer any questions, help people research, do everything, because I want us all to get this done. Like, honestly, I want us all to make the world a better place, because our government's supposed to work for us, and they work against us at all times. So there's no way in hell that we can make America great again, for one. And there's no way in hell that, things will change. So the only way things will change is if we ourselves literally get into this on our own. That's all. That's all there is to it. That's all there is to it. There's no way. We have got to do better. We've got to do better. Wow. Signing out with this one. And I shall come back with more information. So again, make sure that you guys are doing your research. Make sure that you're absolutely wanting to do better. You want change. You want to live free. You want to, obtain your riches and quit struggling and all this extra stuff. Let me know. let me know.
No bad vibes. No bad vibes. Don't come around with that energy. They once fried, they more family than some kin to me. They show me love, still watch out for my enemies. Leveled up to the max, but I ain't hit my peak. Money in the world in my hands. 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 Money in the world in my hands.
Oh my goodness!
I see you doing your thing. Everything they say you can't. You got it going your way. Show it like what more can I say? I see you doing your thing. Everything they say you can't. You got it going your way. Show it like what more can I say? I see you doing your thing. Everything they say you can't. You got it going your way. Show it like what more can I say? I see you doing your thing. Everything they say you can't. You got it going your way. Show it like what more can I say? I ain't gotta say much. You shouldn't have to say much. Stay down so you came up, then came down and stayed up all night to the morning. Baggy eyes and you yawning, but the money keeps on calling, and we ain't about to ignore it. No, you go, you go, you go, till you got anything, then you some more. Like you on a hockey team, hit them goals. Money coming fast while you sipping slow. And me, I'm so past words, I just hit the code. Nothing funny, being broke is a joke. Get into it like it's all a nigga know. Mad I'm busy, but matter if I was broke. Yeah. And I show, so I ain't gotta say much. And you shouldn't have to say much. I see you doing your thing. Everything they say you can't.